Tonight here at home, a debate that has rocked the world of college athletics and raises some questions about the right to compete versus the right to fair competition. It centers around college swimmer Lia Thomas, who competed for the University of Pennsylvania's men's team before transitioning to a woman. Now she competes for the women's team and is on pace for a season that has never been seen before in college swimming. Some of her teammates say it's just not fair, and one of them is sharing her story for the very first time. Here's investigative correspondent Rich McHugh.
22-year-old Lia Thomas is smashing records for the UPenn women's swim team, dominating the Ivy League and on trajectory to break NCAA records. Lia is transgender and swam her first 3 seasons on the men's swim team, not as Lia Thomas, but as Will Thomas.
It was in a very awkward phase where I was on the men's team, but transitioning to a woman, basically.
Since transitioning, the 5th-year senior won Ivy League championships, set Penn records in the 200-meter freestyle, the 500-meter freestyle, and the 1650 freestyle. In that race, Thomas beat the competition by 38 seconds. But Thomas' participation in women's competition has league administrators and her teammates bitterly divided. In December, concerned parents wrote to the NCAA, sending a copy to the Ivy League and UPenn, questioning the fairness of it. The NCAA and the Ivy League did not respond. UPenn did respond, expressing support for all swimmers, the desire to help our community navigate Lia's success, and encouraging students to utilize on-campus counseling and psychological services. The NCAA recently revised its transgender participation policy to defer to the national governing body in each sport, in this case, USA Swimming, which in February announced new rules for transgender women swimmers, and to provide evidence that they did not have a competitive advantage from being born a male. 16 members of the women's team also wrote a letter to UPenn and the Ivy League saying that while they support Lia's gender identity, when it comes to sports competitions, the biology of sex is a separate issue from someone's gender identity. Biologically, Lia holds an unfair advantage over competition in the women's category. Olympic gold medal swimmer and founder of the advocacy group Champion Women, Nancy Hogshead-McCarr, sent the letter on behalf of the swimmers.
Their coaches, their assistant coaches, their the support staff, they're all telling them that they cannot talk about this. And if they have a problem, that they need to go to therapy. Like, you can use our therapists here, instead of being able to have a dialogue.
But the NCAA announced that it would not change its rules for the 2022 swim season because it could have unfair and potentially detrimental impact on schools and student athletes intending to compete in the 2022 NCAA Women's Swimming Championships.
The NCAA is spineless, and they've been presented. They know what the best science is, and they chose to protect Lia over women. They were more afraid of the ACLU and a lawsuit than they were of biological women. They expected the biological women to just suck it up.
Now, one of Thomas' teammates has decided to speak. We agreed to alter her appearance and voice for this interview.
This is a problem that needs to be fixed.
So you've chosen to remain anonymous. Why is that?
Because there's about 2% of the population in this country who attack people no matter what they say. They don't actually have an argument, and they don't present any facts or logic. They just want to attack other people and like bring people down. And I just don't really want to subject myself to that.
The other teammates who see this the same way that you do, how do they feel about speaking out about this? Are they scared?
I think a lot of my teammates are really scared.
Take me back to the first time that you can recall when Lia got in the pool and competed. What was the reaction? What was your reaction?
Yeah, the first time I can remember, I was kind of just shocked that this was like here and like this was actually happening, and like there was going to be no one to step in and in either way and kind of like assist the situation. We were kind of just made to accept it and not question it or say anything.
Lia Thomas declined our request for an interview through the university, but she recently spoke with Sports Illustrated, pushing back at critics and said, "The very simple answer is that I'm not a man. I'm a woman, so I belong on the women's team." Do you agree with that?
I agree that Lia identifies as a woman, but I think that there is differences between the physiological makeup of a transgender woman versus a cisgendered woman, and to allow Lia 100% the ability to be on the women's team and with no rules or anything like that, which is not fair.
The term cisgender referring to a person whose gender identity is the same as their sex assigned at birth. Recently, Michael Phelps has called the controversy complicated and has said there needs to be a, quote, level playing field. Caitlyn Jenner, perhaps the most famous transgender athlete, has publicly said she doesn't think it's fair that Lia is competing in women's sports. Quote, her cardiovascular system is bigger, her heart is bigger, she's got longer arms and legs. I don't think biological boys should compete in women's sports. That's the bottom line, Jenner said. Banners with the phrase 8 against hate, a reference to the 8 Ivy League schools, hung at many of the meets.
It's not like people are discriminating against Lia and saying that she cannot swim. You know, she identified as a woman and still swam on the men's team, and that's a choice that she's making. But then to compete with the women's team, that is something that other, cisgender women are not choosing. They're categories for a reason because they make sense and they ensure fairness.
When you were watching Lia swim at meets and whatnot, what's going through your mind?
Frustration. Frustration that this was allowed to happen. The NCAA has never said anything about the situation, but by not saying anything, they were then discriminating against cisgender women.
So you feel that you've been discriminated against?
Oh, 100%. Yes, absolutely. I've been discriminated against, and most of my teammates have too. And the NCAA has allowed it to happen, and it's shameful.
The NCAA did not respond to our request for comment. From my understanding, Lia still has male genitalia. Is it a source of discomfort that she is in the locker room with you and others on the team?
Yeah, it's definitely uncomfortable, and it's something that's been expressed to our coach and other members of the athletic department that people are uncomfortable with it, especially like back at the beginning of the season. It's something I know for a fact that me and multiple of my teammates went to the coach about, and we were just basically told to suck it up and, to deal with it.
That's the phrase that they used, suck it up?
Yeah.
What's your message to Penn?
Do better, stop being weak and afraid, do what's right, support women. I don't know why supporting women has become such a crazy concept. And you have just completely fallen on your knees to cancel culture, and you've not even come close to doing your job. In fact, you've done the opposite of what you're supposed to do, and it's embarrassing.
Do you believe that Penn has caved to the fear of cancellation?
Yeah, 100%. I think that is...
University of Pennsylvania did not respond to our request for comment. In 5 or 10 years, let's say, when we look back on this, how do you think we're going to look at this issue?
I think we're going to look at the people who were making these decisions and were in charge and kind of laugh at them. You had the power to change that and you chose not to. You're kind of a coward for that.
And in just over 5 days, the controversy will move to Atlanta, where Thomas will compete in the NCAA championships. Should Lia be competing in those?
I do not think that Lia should be competing in those because there is now one less spot for a cisgender female who is of NCAA championship caliber who will not get to compete. And also, Lia's going and whatever heat she's in, whatever event she's in, there is no longer a fair and equitable playing field.
Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.